Hello.
Hello, everybody. We are live.
So long.
TPK Tuesday with a lot of people who haven't been on the stream for quite some time. Hello to everyone here. We're going to do a magnificent, gigantic adventure of sorts. But first, our adventurers for tonight, starting with Kanishka.
Oh shit. Hi, I'm Kanishka and I am playing a battlesmith artificer Dina, who is very poised, I hope.
And how does Dina look?
So hot. No, she does because I all characters I play like BG3 default, the buff lady. So she's like short and she's like buff. She has this magnificent like sort of mane of these braids that like sort of float down, and there are like so many, like essentially she has so much hair and it's also beautiful, and she has this massive beard which is like just beautiful, like it's just clean and it's shiny. There are not a lot of things she wants in life, but she will definitely need an hour every day for her hair. That is her pride and joy.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah, and her dino, which is this fully mechanical, very Horizon Zero Dawn-esque thing, and it's very ferocious. In the terms like when people see it, but it's literally like a dog. It's like the most friendliest thing that you can ever see, but it looks terrifying.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is Dina the dwarf with her dino dog. And next we're going to Scatter. Scatter, who are you?
My name is Akib, and I am going to be playing Scatter, and Scatter talks like this. Hi there, how's it going? How are all of y'all doing? Is it a good time? I want to hear all of you say, is it a good time?
It is a good time!
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I just came here. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's okay. Scatter is a tiefling, proper red skin. He doesn't like showing off his horns that much, but like what he does is he wears a hat and uses his horns to like set it straight. So it's like a cowboy hat, very cowboy-esque kind of guy, and he knows two colors. He knows brown and he knows red, and darker brown once in a while. And he likes to hold his gun. He likes drinking, and he also has a pet. Not as cool. There's no robo part, sadly. So
It's a real deal.
It's got scales, and it comes up, and it usually comes up like this. It goes, "What's up?" I taught it to say "What's up."
This is such like Payden energy. Sorry, I don't know who has watched Dungeons and Daddies here, but this is yes.
I understand the energy.
Awesome.
What's that, my baby father? Sorry, go on.
So from Scatter and his real raptor. What's your raptor's name?
We call him Vulcan.
Vulcan. Okay, Vulcan the raptor. Okay. And then we move on to one of the smaller people in the party. I mean, actually, honestly, this is quite a relatively shortish party. But yes, coming to Mahika, who's playing Shika. Who is Shika?
Shika Fadwan is a gnome, wizard, rogue, cleric only. And she claims to be an absolute saint who's never done anything wrong in her life.
Okay.
Though currently, as at this point of time, as we are starting, she is hiding in her tree and using mold earth to create bumps on a road for people to trip over, just for the heck of it and just because she's bored. She has her pet pteranodon on her shoulder. The pet's name is Squawkzilla. and
Squawk.
the bird is hissing at her to not do this to unsuspecting innocents, but she doesn't particularly wants to listen because she's so aggressively bored.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I have a question. Can I insight check?
Oh, we'll get that.
Good luck spotting her.
So Shika and Squawk.
I just feel bad vibes.
Oh god, I love the name Squawkwilla. So that's Shika and Squawkwilla. That's Shika, what race are you?
Gnome.
Ah, no, a dark gnome. Yes. And last but not the least, we have another dwarf in our party. Peria.
Yes.
What are you?
So hey, I'm Kush and I'm playing Peria Pista, and he is a dwarf. Don't let his 7 feet stature fool you. He is a dwarf, and he has had he has quite a tragic backstory. Lost his family, was found by another family. They were also brutally unalived, and now he's on his path to take vengeance. Those who did this to him.
Okay. So now, to set the scene and to start our adventure, all of you have been traveling these lands for a couple of days now. A couple of things that you have come across on your way is slightly wilted fauna around you. And this, as you guys start walking more and more, you do notice that there seems to be the more nature proficient of the lot of you would find that a lot of animals seem to have dropped in your path. And as you walk by, you see that you can see carcasses lying in places, you can see wilted trees, you can see wilted leaves around. But after traversing through what seems to be relatively dying jungles, you come to a bit more of a sparser area that seems to have a mountain range in the distance. There, while traversing through a village, you met a young man, a soldier that you took a liking towards, and his name was Evan. Now, Evan, you found drunk at a tavern, pleading with anybody who would come by to assist him in rescuing his uncle that seems to be taken by giants near what is rumored to be a star forge. You talk to him a bit. Would you like to have a small recap of the conversation? I'll actually honestly let you guys decide how the conversation with Evan went last night. Each of you can give me one thing that I'll give you a question. You can tell me what you did. So to start with, Dina, what's one question you have asked Evan?
I think Dina probably has asked. So have you published any research papers?
Now, he seems to be more of a squire and scared one at that. And you can see that the heavy armor that he's like donned on himself seems to either have been stolen from somewhere or borrowed, and they seem quite loose fitting. So when he looks at you and he goes like, I've only been learning about the art of the blade just recently, but Uncle Theldin has a lot of research papers.
I'm going to take my all-purpose tool and just like make sure the armor fits him. So this man is speaking and I just like go zzz, zzz, just like absolute invasion of privacy.
Well, Uncle Theldin has some research papers back. Oh, that fits really well. Thank you so much.
It's never too late for education. Find your local, get your whatever fantasy equivalent of GED is.
I mean, he catches hold of your shoulder. He catches hold of your shoulder, but that's exactly who Uncle I've forgotten his name now.
Oh yes,
Uncle Theldin is. Yes.
I have traveled 7 years to meet Uncle
Theldin?
Keldon.
Theldin?
I knew that. I knew that because I say that name every. When I go to sleep to never forget.
Why? Okay. I mean, I guess Uncle would be quite glad that he has fans around.
Okay, how about this? What was the last thing he was working on before he went missing?
Well, he did say he wanted to go and investigate the Starforge again because recently there's been disturbances happening over there. And this is where I would cut to Akif. What's a question you would ask?
All right, son. Just one question, right? Where was he last?
Where was he?
Where was he last, your uncle? When he got caught, like where was it?
So, last week there was a monstrous trembling of the ground that awoke the whole town. And coming down from the cliffside there, and as he points through the window, you can see in the distance, it's slightly hazy, but you do notice that certain parts of the cliffside seem to be broken a bit. And following the direction of that, you look at parts of the village, and it seems to be almost trampled on in certain places. You see buildings that are broken, you see people that are taking like the wounded to the side. You see others that when they see you enter the village, they quickly close their windows, but at the same time you see others that are leaving as well, packing their things and leaving for good. Everyone seems to be terrified and everybody seems to be anxious. And who has the highest perception here?
17. Is that good?
14.
Passive? Are you asking?
Passive, yes.
Yeah, 23.
23, awesome. So Shikha, you definitely hear this, while the talking is happening, there is no cheer, there is nobody singing, there's no laughter. It's just people trying to drink away their sorrows, maybe even drink themselves to death. And in the distance, you hear a soft sound reach your ears, and it goes tink, 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 and it follows this routine and never stills itself. So to come from I'm going to go to you, Shikha, since you heard this. What would be one question or action you would like to take here?
Okay, Shikha is. Wait, did you guys say that his uncle had published himself? Was a scholar or something? Okay. So Shikha is simultaneously like comforting him and saying, "There, it's okay." And for her question, she says, "You say your uncle was a researcher. Did he publish any? Did he write down anything before he went missing to give us a whereabout of his location?" And while she's doing that, she's also simultaneously casting Mage Hand to tie his shoelaces together.
Okay.
And she's just like, there, it's okay, we'll find him.
Cool, give me a sleight of hand with disadvantage because you're talking to him currently.
Could I give her bardic inspiration?
No, don't worry about this. Disadvantage roll, and that is a 22.
Oh my god! He rolled a 20 and got a 22. So, okay. The
Mage Hand is invisible for arcane tricksters.
Yeah, cool. But he understands that something is like wrong. He notices when he looks down that his shoelaces are tied. He doesn't know where this has come from. But instead of being annoyed at you, he seems to like honestly admire it even more. Can you guys hear like music at the back?
Not really.
There's Ganesh Chaturthi music happening at the back, and it's like rocking my table right now. But yeah, so distracting. But so he looks at you and he's like, "What here?" heroes. You are our heroes, right? I see it upon your faces. I see the magic you wield. The lines show experience, like the sort of people that Uncle Theldin used to get. Please, you have to rescue him. He's the only one here to help us build our weapons. And without him, there's no one here to fix things that are broken or arm us against future enemies. And the ones that came down, you might come down again. And I'm not sure what will happen if they achieve what they set out to do. And to answer your question, he did work on, he does have parchments of information that should be available at his forge. Most of the things that he was looking at were the material deposits at the Star Forge, and also I'm not sure if you noticed on your way here, but the environment around has been reacting a little differently. Things seem to be poisoning our lands, and we're not too sure where it's come from yet. Now, Uncle was not a great expert in matters of nature, but he was quite skilled in stonework and metalwork. And I fear that the giants might have taken him to create a weapon more powerful than all of them combined. That comes to you, Peria. Is there anything you'd like to ask or do?
Based on everything that's happened to this guy, Peria remembers his story where a bunch of bandits essentially wielding runes very similar to what giants have attacked his village and stunned him in place as they destroyed the whole place, pillaged, looted the whole place, and beat his father, took his father away and beat him up, and Peria was not able to do anything at that point. Remembering that, he just I'm assuming this person is shorter than Peria.
Actually, he would be. He's taller than you, but significantly leaner. The muscles that you have, he does not even show an inkling of it yet.
Okay, yeah, so I place my hand on his head and I just say, if you give us everything that we need, if you just tell us everything you know, I promise we will bring your father back. It will be okay. I promise this.
Thank you. That does mean a lot to me. Well, the most I can say is a week ago, a giant by the name of Brimskarda came here with her own nephews, and they came here demanding for Uncle Theldin, saying that we look for the master crafter who fashioned weapons of war that our village has used to defend ourselves. And he also points to the sigil at the back that hangs above the tavern bar, and you see these like gorgeous looking those Arabian sort of like swords. I forgot what they call the big flat long ones.
Scimitars?
Yeah, scimitars, correct. So like they look like I don't know, it feels even through an illustration that there's something different about it. It's just the angle of it. And you, especially Dina, would notice that, even the representation of this weapon showcases very fine craftsmanship. And it is also a reason why you've heard of Theldin's name before. Because it would be about a decade or so before when giants had last attacked this village, and that's the time him as a young artificer had fashioned these blades and given it to the villagers to use to defend themselves. Now, you are not sure whether there is any magic involved in this crafting, but you do know that they were ones that was sharper than are said to be sharper than any sword found in these lands. To slice open anything as fine and thin as a paper almost. And he looks at you all and he says, Brimskarda came here. She said that she demanded that Uncle Theldin follow her. When he refused, she started to attack our village. She took down almost one whole area of the town before he had to finally agree. And he couldn't do anything. He wasn't even chained up and taken with her. Just simply picked up, shoved into a bag, and put at the side of her pocket. There she went, walking with him, blazing through the snow.
Why do these giants
Can we?
men
Yeah,
might?
now all of you can also converse as well, but I'm gonna just say that we'll be keeping this to only about 10-15 more minutes, and then go to next.
It was an open question.
Oh.
Why would giants with power to destroy villages need weapons?
I am not sure, but I do believe the giant monks would be able to help you. They live up there, up in the past the Wirely, up in the ice spears. If you can go to their monastery, maybe they'll be able to answer your questions.
I think while looking at the blade, Dina has another question, if it's okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
And she asked, like, Evan, did because he's like such a renowned scholar and shit like that, did he in any way sort of put any kind of effects or anything on this village to make sure that people don't attack, any weapons that were distributed, any training that was given, I mean, you've been living here all your life, so
Sadly, we are not very adept in the arcane skills, and Uncle, even though he was great at forging weaponry, magic itself for abjuration, protect us, to put up wards around, was not something he was quite skilled in. And even if he were, the magic of one mere man is nothing against a horde of giants.
he was not a mere man. Did you know he wrote this paper about how atoms vibrate really fast?
What are atoms?
What are atoms?
Why are they vibrating?
Now,
Why are they
well,
vibrating so fast?
I have answers to. So atoms are. Oh fuck! I dig my own grave. So atoms are a part.
Well, he
of
did
matter.
write this article on how to make scale mail in a particular fashion. If you weave it in a certain way, it could be very, very comfy for when you sit down. It acts like sort of cushion.
He also perfected the art of putting oil all over you, so you're very slippery.
Confused. Was he into warfare or was it something else?
No, I think she just essentially is. So atoms are essentially like what your magic is sort of made of. In order for it to sort of materialize, it needs to have, and like, so essentially you kind of like making these atoms and like sort of making things, and he kind of went into the research about how it works and all of that, and yes, he was pretty cool.
That could be a reason why they have taken him. I'm sorry.
I can't play serious characters, guys. Sorry.
I mean, Uncle Theldin always did call me a simpleton. And
Hey man, believe yourself. Get a GED.
I mean, you're not a simpleton. You could be a moron too. It's not that big of a problem. I mean, look at Perry.
Yeah. Don't let your heritage define you.
As this is happening, I kind of look at my dino dog and say, "So Nathaniel," and he kind of goes like, and he starts like sort of prowling and like just gets up in this guy's face and like you just like hear me from back saying, "You need to believe in yourself more, man.
This guy, you can see,
Believe in yourself."
he's standing and staring down your robo dog, but his boots are quivering. Okay, and he's repeating to himself, "Evan,
I think
you are brave. Evan, you are strong. Evan, you don't need to run away again."
you need daily affirmations. When I come back, I need to see your list. And then like Sir Nathaniel like sort of keeps his head down, sort of like like sort of it's like he's offering to be petted, but it's very menacing.
He's not going to attempt to
I thought an animal handling check was coming his way.
That's all of the champion from an NPC.
I mean, his uncle made crazy shit, but this is a freaking dino. This is like a robo dino here.
Yeah, and so he looks, and then he looks at me, and then he comes back.
Okay.
So
I'm
that's a
like,
nat.
dude, the first time that happened, I passed out. It was crazy. You did so well.
He
You have
smiles.
some bardic inspiration. I slap him across the face a little hard.
Yes, I am brave.
I pressed meditation to make his clothes like shinier and cleaner.
I am strong.
I draw a craft and give him a flower.
He loves you.
I use thaumaturgy to make his voice boom when he says I'm brave and strong.
I have emotions too. I'm like, he is so empowered right now. Would you guys like to go back to visit his forge, or would you like to go towards the monastery?
Nice.
Can I actually, just before we leave, can I just look into the blade that you were pointing at?
Yeah,
Just
so
study it for a second.
this is more like a sigil on the door. It's more
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
the sigil that represents the town.
Okay.
And you have a look at it. It looks more like a refashioned scimitar that seems to have like a handle that can be wrapped around. So what is Arkan doing?
Wrapped around what?
Around your hand. So it holds it
Okay.
steady. You do feel like the way that this handle is fashioned is to make it easier for anyone, even if they're not skilled, to still be able to hold it in an effective manner and swing. The blade itself, you're not able to really understand too much since it is just a diagram, but you could give me what is exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for like what type of weapon is it, or are you looking for any other detail?
She is right now. She is wondering if this is the kind of the like you said, no, this is a weapon that can be handled by anybody, even if it's not skilled. So what she is imagining a situation where a bunch of giants are carrying gigantic versions of this.
Okay.
So this is just a theory she has building right now. Okay, that's all. So she wants to see what about this could be perhaps appealing to Brimskarda and her cronies.
Okay, so give me just a insight check, I'd say, or just give me an intelligence check.
Can I do? Okay, fine.
If you want to go for wisdom, I'll just change the answer depending on that. You can go ahead.
23.
23?
23.
So you do believe that there isn't enough information for you to really gauge why it is that they took him. But one thing is evident: this man knows things about weaponry. He knows about how to channel arcane magic. From the sigil of the sword itself, you're not too sure, but you feel like his nephew might not truly understand his importance.
Yeah.
If you were to maybe discuss with Dina, maybe like both of you, like she would actually know more of, the fact that this is superior craftsmanship. And essentially, it's probably because this person's a master crafter who knows to use any sort of material. That's why he's been taken.
Okay. I turn to this guy and I say, "Don't worry, we'll find your uncle Calvin Klein."
Theldin. But
That's what I said. What did you hear?
oh, it's nothing. It's okay.
Oh, he heard the underwear brand.
What's an underwear?
Come on,
Brand.
come on, Peria.
The loin cloth.
Oh, okay.
Peria doesn't know that either.
What's a Lloyd?
I just like a triangle piece of cloth.
For the first
A
time.
bandana.
Yeah. But a bandana, but for your genital.
What's the genital?
Dina, you realized for the first time that this constant smell that just kind of like plagued your nose for so long seems to be coming from Peria.
Dina like straight up has a flashback to her workshop where there's this goddamn kid named Daniel who keeps coming into her workshop and smells like shit. And he keeps like going around touching things. What's that? It's like her bane of existence. She can't shoot the kid. That's the only reason the kid is alive.
Oh my god, because she can't shoot him.
Hey, yeah. I'll kill children.
Oh crap! Before I forget.
Okay. Now, before we get demonetized.
Wait! Before I forget, the Shika also wants to ask what that sound is that she heard.
Okay. So you remark on the sound, and it is clear that everybody looks at you in confusion, and they like, Evan starts to say like, sounds of everyone else talking. The sound of the winds blowing. I'm sorry, ma'am. What sound are you referring to?
Yeah.
Can't you hear that? It's like a hammer. It's like the sound miners would make.
Theldin.
I turned to the rest of the party and I said, "Can nobody hear that miner-esque sound?" And just for the heck of it, I randomly cast. I not this thing. Like she just turns to the rest of the party and says, "Can you all hear this miner sound?" And as she says that, she also goes. She just mutters to herself, "Miner? I hardly know her." Just to herself.
So cute. Oh,
Salute.
dude. Love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Thank God my video's off. I'm face palming myself so hard right now.
Evan got like a 4. He might have a slight crush on you.
I have a flash of genius. I'm so tempted to just give you that right now because of that joke. Where's my flash?
Reaction.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can
Going
add
through my
5
spell.
to the next roll. I think I just like hear that and my brain like hardly know. I look at you concerned, and that is how the flash of genius comes.
I'll give you I'll give you guidance if you want. If anybody wants to boost the roll or something.
Sure. So you have a +5 to your next roll. Whatever. Have fun. And I have 1d4.
The amount of like actual sincere like, are you okay?
Are you okay? Flash of genius.
Awesome.
Let's go.
So, Evan looks at all of you and says, "Would you like to rest here for tonight? Shall I take you to the monastery tomorrow?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we go look at the uncle's forge or something, his workshop or forge or whatever?
Yeah, so I'll say that you go back to his house, and anybody who wants to search can just give me an investigation check or an insight check if you're trying to understand what sort of man Theldin is.
Could I? Like,
I'll roll for investigation.
I just
Same.
wanna take Dina like for a second. I'm like, yo, I just had like a flash of genius. God, I fucking love this, right?
Yeah. Are you gonna sleep?
He was an
right?
artificer. Wait,
Oh.
what?
Huh?
What? What happened?
Nothing. Go on. You were saying sounded important.
I'm worried about the next couple of minutes. I said, so he was an artificer, and you're an artificer. They don't have an artificer. Fucking so much money.
Yeah.
We can make a fucking. So why don't you take over the artificer position?
Yeah. And then once I become the artificer, I will then, make a sample of products and then tell people, hey, do you want to be artificer? And so then they can be artificers and then they... No, I'm supposed to play this character seriously. I do agree with you. And what I was saying was... And she looks around and I think Dina is always very intimidating, and right now she has that very cartoony, her eyebrows going very anxious. Now this is not a kink and I want you to understand that. But is it okay if we sleep in the forge, because I have been following this for a while and this. And
Sorry. Inside check that shit.
Go for it. But she continues and she's like, I have never seen, I have a very industrious workshop, but this is something else. And I feel like if I sleep here, I'll just be one step closer to genius. Do you get it? And her eyes are insane. Do you get it?
Second. I rolled an 8 plus 12.
She's very serious about this, and that's why this is very concerning.
And I'm like, I feel for the good of the party, we shouldn't let you sleep in the... you can go to the forge, but maybe not sleep in the forge, right?
But there's fire. We can fan fire and make weapons while sleeping. So it's ergonomic. I have coffee and she removes the alchemy jug, which is full of coffee.
I'm like, we'll talk about it, right, Dina? Cool? Yeah.
Do you want some ale?
No, it's good. I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. She pours herself first.
I go to Peria and I'm like, bro, where did we find these people?
Okay. I can't play a serious character. I'm sorry. She's insane.
I can't. It's awesome. Okay, let's go.
She looks like one last time to forge, as if she's leaving her partner behind, and then she starts following these guys.
But we are going there.
We are going to the forge.
I knew that.
Are you actually drinking ale, bro?
Hey, I got this is for flavor. I technically have only one, but for flavor I have 2 alchemy jugs, which essentially never get over, with ale and coffee.
Oh, you can be like a freaking traveling merchant with that.
I know. Maybe that is my retirement plan. You don't know, Shame.
Or a heart attack waiting to happen. Okay, let's go.
The sales pitch is, do you want to wake up or get fucked up?
Yeah.
I thought the pitch was, do you want to fuck or do you want to get fucked up? Okay, but
It would be a very different campaign.
But coming back to Evan,
So I had one more time. It's fine.
who's standing awkwardly with Peria and like Shika and watching this as like, okay. And then he looks at both of you and he's like, so do you want to look at the forge? To Peria and Shika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 28 on investigation.
28!
Oh.
I
Oh my
didn't roll
god.
only.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay, and what
Got 17 on insight.
17 on insight. Got it.
I got 12.
Investigation, right? 16.
16. Got
I
it.
fucking love rogues and their roles, man.
I'm just like, I'm just too enamored to process anything.
So you
Plus-
start.
Go on.
So you start looking around and you find a couple of different things. You find you find metallic plates in the process of being made into full armor. You see these swords in different stages of like development sitting around. You see that the main forge itself, which is in the middle, seems to have ash and you can see that even though this has happened last week, it still carries a little bit of heat from having run continuously for so many years. You start looking around for papers, and there's a couple of things that just kind of go with the terms of investigation. So some things that you, Peria and Scatter find are like these papers with this odd symbol on it. And Scatter, you wouldn't know what that symbol means, but Peria, you would remember this from innate lessons that you have had as a child. And just looking at it, you have this rage slowly building in you. Because the symbol on this paper is written in giant. And you recognize this symbol from one of the first things you ever learned, which was how to identify what sort of giant is residing somewhere. And this certain symbol means fire. You start looking more around, you notice that there seems to be a map of the area. You kind of understand, both of you looking together, where exactly the monastery would be on this. Peria, you do notice that there are like deposits of like water and like flora kept in just like these glass jars and what are the other things called? Beakers and what is the thing called?
Test tubes.
Test tubes?
Test tubes, yeah, thank you. I was like, what is it called? Okay, so it's kept in test tubes and things like that. You do find like a note scribbled over there as well that says like, acidic in nature, destroying life very quickly, seeping from somewhere, and question mark and things like that. And
Can I pick a Whale of Acid?
yes, you can.
I'll just grab one.
Got it. And you keep it with you. Now, Shika, you have found a lot more information. Looking around, you find a little more information about the Star Forge itself. And you read that it's a furnace that was built by giants eons ago at a spot where the star from the skies fell onto the earth. And it's a sort of a crater that has formed, in the middle of which is the forge. You also see like a sort of like very crude map of it, and essentially what it looks like is a sort of big hole, and in the middle of that big hole is another small hole. Surrounded inside is what you think means water. So you imagine it to be possibly a forge in the middle of a lake. Another thing you read is a report, essentially, more findings about the lake. You start reading it and there are things like, it's just written quickly in quick notes, water from nearby mountain, acidic, poisoning people, livestock, wild, streams all corrupted, seeping from the fallen star into the alpine lane. Cause for pollution? Maybe. And then it's just like written in like capitals and scratched around it. How to repair.
Uncle's so good to. No, damn it. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna pass over the info to the rest of the party, the papers, and the map. Okay? Check out the
Yeah.
hole on this. I'm sorry.
And even the map itself, it's not a very detailed one. Most of what you see in it seems to be like, if like it's kind of like if someone who's gone and visited it has made like a crude map of what it could be, so that people can just know where things are. And do any of you read Elvish?
I don't think so.
Nah.
No.
I mean,
But I
if
can
you-
cast comprehend languages.
Nice.
Okay. And are you casting it?
Yep.
Okay. You cast it, and you can now see that you have like names written on the map showing like where different things are. Stuff that you see are things like, one second, I'm trying to find page for it, but I'll send you like a sort of scribble of the map later, so you have like an idea
Sure.
of what it looks like. But essentially what you do understand is that there's a crater sized hole at the top of a mountain. In this hole there seems to be water that is like filled up, and in the middle of this crater is another small island like place where the forge is supposed to be. The lake that you hear, that Shika, you have seen Uncle Theldin mention in his notes, you wonder whether that's the body of water.
Whether that's the body of?
Water in the map.
Would I have any idea about this?
About the Starforge?
Yeah, but like, because that is kind of like a lot of my.
Yeah,
My
give
job.
me a history or arcana. No, give me a history check with advantage. Only because
Would
you
you?
know about Theldin, so you'd know about this area.
Yeah, because if I've been like following this guy for a while and fangirling over the stupidest shit, I hopefully will know something.
Yeah.
Okay.
See Dina just like
20.
looking at wrenches and going, oh!
Yeah, quite literally. Like, what is that scene in Kung Fu Panda when he enters that hall? Yeah, that is how I'm imagining her now, fully shifted from a serious character. But yeah, I got a 20.
A 20. Give me a sec. Now, sorry. Yeah. Now, do you know this happens to you sometimes? Where, like, when you feel like you really want to think hard or understand the intricate workings of something, you hear like a sort of female voice in your head. It sounds almost eternal and doesn't seem to be from any region in specific. But you trust it because in some ways you wish that voice was your own, because when you want reason to come to you, it comes to you in this voice. And it tells you eons and eons ago, the sky fell in the form of a star, a blazing fire that landed on a massive mountain, bigger than any giant could. And there, where it rested, was where Starforge was born. Starforge blazes on a small obsidian island, in a lake formed in a crater where the star fell from. The forge's incandescent iron furnace spills light across the dark glass and still water, casting long shadows towards the slopes of the crater. And as this voice tells this to you, you find an image start to form in your head where you see like this light fall from darkness, where you see it strike the ground, where you see as the ground erupts and makes this massive hole, a single fire just blazes in the middle. You also see, looking from past this, what seems to be an empire that surrounds it, now blasted away, parts of the buildings all corrupted, broken into pieces. You see shadowy figures lying around, and in some small part of your brain, you feel like you could hear cries as well. And this image is slowly replaced by another one of giants coming to this place over and over again, trying to strike at this fire, the star, the cradle of an obsidian. They strike at it over and over again. And as you look at the environment around you as well, you notice that it's shifting and changing as if the presence of many, many centuries passing. But as it does, in time lapse almost, you see the forge being built around it until people disappear and all that's left is the snow falling on this. You see the lake filling around and no one comes to visit anymore. And then this voice says to you again, great power nests at the forge, can be wielded, make a destructive weapon that would make the giants tame themselves.
As I get all of that information, I kind of as goofy as she was being, in a very serious tone, she goes she is kind of I wouldn't say confused, but a little bewildered, I guess. She looks around I thought this was a myth. She looks around and she's for a very long time, this was considered a myth, something that has happened, but nobody knew the location. And this is not great, because if one of the best sort of blacksmith, one of the best scholars is being taken in that direction, the power and the weapons that can be forged and wielded are said to have enormous amount of energy that could very well sort of destroy everything around it, like it did. It destroyed a civilization. Chugs my ear. Sorry. It's terrifying.
I'd say, Peria, hearing this brings back a lot to you. You know more than the others do what the Rat of Titans looks like. You know what playfulness looks like to giants. You know that playfulness could bring destruction. But what can intent bring then? The giants that attacked you as a child, that killed your family, that took away so much, were younglings. They weren't even full-grown ones. They came and trampled all over everything that you held close. Why? Because they wanted to see the small squeal. And hearing what Dina says now, you feel that rage build as you clutch at that paper that's written fire.
Peria's, as he clenches that paper, his rage almost transforms into a feeling of dread, a feeling of almost what can I even do? What can anyone do to stop these giants? Without even trying, they can wreak havoc. And if they get this weapon, the only way to stop whatever they're trying to do is to prevent it. There There is no stopping them once it's done. We have to leave now.
I'm ready to ride today.
Like right now?
I mean, unless you guys have, like, you to set your affairs in order. You all sound glum as fuck. I just want to point that out. I get it, the world's ending, but that's okay.
I
World's
really
gonna be
feel,
great.
I really feel that that's what ends up making you like the voice of reason, because everyone is so coded in their own sense, and you're like, well, this is not great. And I think like, yeah, go ahead.
Up until this point, she wasn't like Shikha was in a mellow mood. She just picked up random knickknacks and was juggling with it. And then Peria said what he said, and she stops, and one of those knickknacks falls on her head. She doesn't even notice. We're like, oh my god.
But I will also say that because you got such a high investigation and you were looking around, you can take 2 bottles of greater healing and keep it with you. You guys are gonna. You guys are gonna.
By the way, just give one to me. It's okay. Like, I understand. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, sure. Take it.
You see her drop something on her head, and your first thing is give me the healing push.
Give me the healing push. Oh, by the way, slap it. No, I'm kidding. I was gonna give her bardic inspiration.
Hey, you wanna test my dodging skills? I'm a rogue.
Oh, you wanna go?
Yeah, Dex versus Dex. Go, guys.
Let's go.
Dex versus Dex.
Okay, so what am I rolling?
Dex.
It's not happening. It's not acrobatics.
No, let's go with acrobatics. Both for you. Both of you.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I get an advantage also.
Yeah.
Let's go. Why am I getting advantage though? 1 second.
I love that these guys are being traumatized in the corner.
Okay, acrobatics. Oh, you got a 21. I'm fucked. 1
Is this a
second.
dance competition? I'm kind of hoping it is.
That's a 1.
Yeah, advantage you just said.
Oh, I have advantage. Wait.
Damn it!
That's a 12 plus 8, which is a 20.
Oh, by
Yeah.
1. You almost do it, Scatter.
I almost got you.
But
I
Scatter,
almost got you.
Hey! Excuse me.
What?
that kind of reminds me of something, Scatter. I almost got you. Something you've told somebody else repeatedly. Another great sharpshooter. Someone that you've never let them know, but aspired to be like. Magnificent man with the most dashing attire.
Yeah.
And you think,
Green Goblin.
you think like Scatter the giant slayer seems to have a cool ring to it.
Fuck yeah. Also, if I get the destructive weapon, I can use it on that fucking asshole. It's gonna be great. And like, I just mutter out saying like, oh, Sam's gonna fucking hate this.
Does he? Does Scatter say this out loud?
He
Like, I wanna
does, he
use it
does.
on that fucking asshole.
Yeah, Sam's
As
fucking
he,
asshole.
as he says, use it on that fucking Shikha, his fucking asshole, and she like points at herself and looks like, what?
No, not you. It's another person.
Oh, okay. I mean, you did just try to slap me in my defense for no reason.
Hey, you said it. I thought this was a consensual thing.
I slap you and tell you that you're the asshole.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna cover myself in shame.
I like that Evan invited all of you back, and this is like being like a sort of possible orgy scenario right now, and he's just kind of like backing away, and he's like, well, if you need me, just holler. But we must set out at dawn. It'll be much. It's not safe to travel at night. You might not.
I agree.
Especially the mountains can be quite slippery and incredibly cold.
That's just some weak sauce behavior if I've seen.
He looks like mortified. He was like, Am I letting Uncle down by not going immediately?
No, man. No.
It's been a week.
No. It's weak sauce behavior, but it makes sense for you.
Yeah, I mean, you already waited a week. A week and one night will not make that much of a difference.
But your armor looks great.
Okay, Evan goes to bed motivated.
I ask Pista and Dina and all the other smart people in the group. Oh yeah, you're not, but like you know things.
I think Dina and Shikha are like the only smart people in the group, and I'm also kind of dumb. So it's only Shikha actually.
Shikha ain't acting like it right now, though.
Yeah,
I just saw Shika fucking juggle for the last 15 minutes.
Y'all have
Oh no.
like no idea from where, and I'm not gonna say because I'll have to make it up. But y'all just find and I remove it from somewhere. Now there are these 4 mugs, and I keep my alchemy, my ale jug and my coffee jug down.
I mean, if the world's going to end,
Why not have both?
yeah, why not have both?
Why don't you mix it? Have you tried it? It makes
I
coffee
actually have.
ale.
Yeah, Vulcan hates that though. So.
I'll try it if you're looking for a volunteer.
It's me, of course. I'm always looking for a one.
She's just a mad scientist. Coffee a day.
Age is out of character, but in characters.
Oh wow.
These were forged from my microbrewery.
I love that as an alchemist you have microbrew. That's all you wanted to use.
I have written research papers that have helped millions of people, and I try to strive that everyone gets educated. And I have a microbrewery at home. What is so funny about that?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Paper was about your microbrewery.
If it was
I thought your paper was about your microbrewery.
3 of them.
I feel like that's one too many.
You don't know the powers of microbrewery field. You do not want to know what goes on inside it.
I feel like the Star Forge telling us is okay.
I love that we can't see we can't see God, sorry, we can't see Shika's face because right now I have no idea what Manisha is doing. But you're reacting to any of this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about this. I'll fix it by next week.
No, it's all good.
So,
But if you want to know what she's doing right now, she's chugging coffee and ale. Kale. She's chugging kale.
Kale.
I will say this.
Kale with the C.
It's amazing, both the things. That's the only thing her work is great. She is something else. She is a piece of work, but all of her work and everything she makes, it's great.
Yeah, Shikha loves it so much. She puts down the jug and she just looks around for with her eyes widened from party member to party member, and then just does a backflip. She's so happy.
Sir Nathaniel also does a backflip with you. It damages the floor.
Oh my god!
Now you're forcing Scatter. Scatter wants to do it. Scatter shall try. But could I please roll for it?
Go for it.
With curiosity dice. I don't want to put that in.
Nice. That's a beautiful color though.
And I rolled a 1.
A 1.
Oh my god!
Do you really want me to tell you that Scatter can't go with you to the mountains tomorrow? But I'm not a DM who would do that. Bad rolls.
It's a long rest, right? I see Scatter trying to do that. I cast haste on it.
Ooh.
Wait. So that's a acrobat. So that's a 9.
You know what? Let me know if it still fail.
Oh my god, yeah, please let's fail. Please
Oh
let's
yeah, and you get advantages on dexterity saving throws. Sorry, and
Yeah.
and but you get 2+2 bonus to your AC.
Oh no. Do I roll again? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Oh, I
right.
do?
Good. Now you have haste.
How am I rolling so badly? It's not any better. It's a 2.
God, it's like
no.
it's like so Scatter like jumps to do a backflip, and you see as like Dina goes and like throws some magic towards him, and for a second, Scatter like immediately like a cat just turns himself as if to get on his paws, but then lands too short, and this goes click.
No. Before that, you see Peria get up as he is mid-air and grow quadruple his size,
My
almost
God.
touching the roof, hunching back, and he picks up and as you're like falling on the floor, he just puts his hand under you.
And catches Scatter, the little raptor. Oh my god.
I also as an insurance cost like feather fall on Scatter if he tries to do backflip.
So this causes a lot of noise and commotion, to which Evan comes to the room. Wow.
Because feather fall on him too.
So Evan, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be beautiful because what happens is Evan comes to the room, looks at what seems to be a giant in the room, and Evan holding a raptor that is slowly falling into his hands. Gets a nat 1 on his roll, gets frightened as fuck, starts falling backwards when you cast
so
Fall the Fall,
slow.
and goes in a slow.
And the worst part
I
is
don't
all of my magic looks offensive. So he just thought he got shot actually.
Maridala. So, what do you think, Chika?
if he's witnessing this, Chika's like, hey Evan, we're just investigating and behaving ourselves. You want to join us? And I hold out the jug to him, the alchemy jug to him.
But
Sam-
before that, you have to do a backflip.
He's still falling from
No,
that fall.
after.
I think Sir Nathaniel goes and with whatever his teeth or like his claw, he kinds of like sort of hooks it on his t-shirt. And his claw is so sharp.
Oh god, that would wake him up, right? Oh god, I hope he doesn't have a heart attack.
Not that attitude.
No,
poor Evan.
heart of steel. Evan gets up again, and honestly, what really reassures him is Shika handing him this jug and being like, "Chug," okay, and he's like, "Oh," and he looks at you, Peri, and he says, "How do you do that?"
I
Really?
don't know.
Really? I can backflip and become a giant. Oh my god, guys.
Bardic inspiration, by the way.
Oh my god. Okay, let's see this man do his backflip.
Do you want to say something more insane? I cast invisibility on myself.
Are we just blowing our spells because we're doing long rests?
And this is when I
This will
decide.
not end well.
This is when I decide that the giant attacks down. But you can see as Evan like takes a bit of your magic and like he feels it scatter. He's going to land that, but as he's doing the flip, he sees that Dina has like disappeared. It distracts him momentarily. He lands on his head and wakes up, and he's like,
Also catch him.
"You catch him as well, okay?" And he looks at you and smiles, but he's so disappointed. But then he looks at you again, and he's determined. I will learn to do a black flip every single day, 10,000 times every day, and finally, one day, I will be as big as you, sir. And he seems confident.
Vegetate him like farting, but it's lavender smell. Dina is drunk now.
Of course. Why not?
It's a fart, but it smells like lavender.
Oh, yeah. We are doing a long rest. We are actually doing a long rest. Right?
Who knows, guys?
And
Keep
he does that.
keep pushing it. Keep pushing it.
As
Sorry.
Veena does that, Shikha just looks at Evan and says, "That's the side effect of the kale. I forgot to mention it."
Kale? Okay, he's so confused. And he's like,
It's you will smell like $1 million. Every business deal you do will go through.
he just
What is
talks.
dollars?
Happening. What is this fever
What
dream
is
he's giving?
Evan kind of like looks at all of you and he sees all this chaos and he just smiles. He's like, it's nice to have friends.
Yes, friends.
I go hug Evan.
Oh yeah, you're both in my hand, so I didn't do this. And you're both
It's
here.
okay. It's okay.
Like this, like walking for them.
Okay, so
I really want to go.
anything else? One last thing before long rest, guys. Otherwise, I'm putting something on you.
Dino tries to jump in his hand to like hug everyone because now he's getting so excited.
Oh my gosh, are you all doing like slumber party in Peria's palms? Falling asleep there? Oh, that'd be so
Only lasts for 1 minute, guys.
Well, you're going to be under
That's what
this
she said.
weird orgy.
If you can finish in a minute. Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's why they call me Scatter.
Hello, my name is Pussy.
So, you guys rest the night away. Nothing else much happens during the night, but you wake up and have the most amazing shits in your life. Like kale does wonders for the digestive system. Something to say. And after that, you all start heading, and you, I'd say you have like you pack a light breakfast. You take any notes and thing that you want from it. You have 2 Gator healing potions, one for Shika and one for Scatter. And I don't think any of you want. And there's none of the other weapons here are better than your own. Currently, it's only because all of you are such seasoned adventurers that you notice that a lot of the weaponry that's been here is for the commoner to defend himself with. And you notice that this. You, especially Dina, would think of it as like in the artificer circles, it seems like charity work almost, because you can see the great skill that goes into it, but you know for a fact that no one is buying any of these weapons. And you can see as well that there aren't a lot of resources in this workshop, and you know that every little thing this man has gotten from anywhere he's gotten has gone towards making weapons for the villagers. And with this information, you set off and go towards the nearby mountains. You get closer, Shika, the ringing in your head gets louder. It's not very loud, but that thing seems a lot more clearer. The others, I'd say you still wouldn't be able to hear it. It's only because her passive is pretty insane.
Yeah.
And you travel up, you do notice again that, there seems to be trails coming down the mountains at different places. Could any of you give me a nature check?
Hell yeah.
Or
Can I?
even insight works as well.
Hey, 26.
If you want, I'll roll for nature.
Yeah, go for it.
I got nature 26.
26? Awesome. Shika?
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
26.
Oh, great. So you...
Can I flex? Can I flex?
Hell yeah. Do it.
I rolled a nat 1 and I still got a 26.
What? You
Dude,
got 27?
Mountain.
I mean, say 25 plus 25?
No. It's reliable talent, no?
So minimum 10 for any.
Oh, got it.
Minimum 10 and
It
yeah.
becomes a 10. Got it. Makes
Kill
sense,
monkeys
makes
are fantastic. They're one of my favorite.
insane.
So crazy.
You do like notice that both of you would, and this is quite clear, especially from the information that you got yesterday, that the trails in the snow and those leading downwards towards a lot of the wider parts of plain land seem to be, it's not really burnt, but it has been blackened a little bit. Also, I'll let you know right now, Akib, anything you put in chat will come live because it comes over my screen.
I never fail dice rolls.
But you guys get the indication that if you were to just follow these trails, it would lead you to the forge, because this seems to be that sort of acidic, what is it? The acidic water that's coming from the lake where the forge is seems to be traveling around these pathways. So they formed like small little streams that seem to be almost cutting through the snow itself.
Oh, like a stream of acidic.
Yeah,
water.
so think of it like imagine if a dam has broken somewhere and water has spread across all the land, that sort of way. So it's made its own small little channels of like streams in different places that has made the snow particularly dark. If you go a little closer, you do also notice that it has tints of like this greenish, bluish metal in it.
Can I look into that?
Same.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't touch it though. I use my mage hand. To kind of sit around and look.
I'll definitely say that because you have Dina with you and Dina, you roll so high, this feels like a residue that would come out of like something being created in the forge. Like, when you wash away something after what's it called, smitting it?
The metal shavings and
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Yeah.
you get an idea that it's probably the residue from the forge itself that is leaking out somewhere and coming here.
Pollutants.
I look at Shikha and I kind of like just like either someone forged something recently or there's something wrong with the forge, because this should not be here. Like, you get these pollutants if you're making something. So either someone is making something or there is something wrong with the forge.
Okay.
You have a
Both are both a problem?
Sorry?
Are both the problem? Like, if it's leaking also, is it an issue?
That means that there's something going on with the forge, right? If it's leaking, then that means that something has either damaged.
That means environmental degradation. And I'm going to take a page out of Scatter's book, find them, and slap the shit out of them.
I mean, I inspire that way, but okay.
It also means that whatever they are building is, or at least parts of it, are ready, because usually plunging in acid is the last step.
That's my concern as well.
Wow, you guys are really smart. Even I didn't think of that. I was like, oh, okay.
If the forge fails, great. If it doesn't, we are in deep doo-doo.
I look at
doo-doo that looks like this,
and
I point to the blue-green thing on the ground.
I look at Shikha and be like, not great, because a forge of this power can cause an annihilation if it's damaged.
I figured.
And that's worse than climate change, because then everyone is dead. There is no climate to begin with.
I figured. And by the way, is it just me? Sorry, Scatter, go on.
No, I just wanted to ask, like, when they're doing this investigation stuff, could I, like, look at Pista and I take out two shrapnel grenades and I'm like, hey, Pista, could I add these onto your hand axes?
Sure. Will they explode on me?
They won't explode on you, but if you throw it at somebody, it might explode on them.
Okay, but I have to pull the pin.
No. Impact will help, I think. Won't it? I think it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Catch.
No. But DM, is it possible? Could I do a hatchet job of putting my shrapnel grenades on the hatchets?
You can, but I would say you'd need some sort of sleight of hand or something to ensure they don't accidentally explode.
I'm good with that. Can I throw them?
This is what I meant, guys. I am scared Arthur will die first.
Can we look at it? Is a shrapnel grenade an action or a reaction or a bonus action?
I mean, it's. I think it's an action.
Shekhar, what's your weapon and what's the bonus you get?
I'm using a gun.
Okay, and what's the bonus you get?
Bonus is, wait, how do I calculate bonus again? Sorry.
To hit.
You're either dex or...
Oh, my 2 hit. My 2 hit with the gun is plus 13.
Plus 14. And what about...
13.
Plus
13.
And what about you, Pista?
I have a glaive plus 14.
Cool. I do nothing. Because I was thinking of giving plus 2 to someone.
It's cool. I have reckless also.
Give it to yourself.
Yeah.
I have Staff of Power. I'm good, baby. I'm
Yeah.
groovy.
You are.
Yeah, so for the grenade, if I throw it at someone and then you use your action to activate it, like that you want to do.
Yeah.
Ah, cool. That's it.
Oh, you know what would be cool? Throwing the grenade and then firing at it. There's another person wielding a gun in this party, no?
Yeah. I can imagine if I did. Oh yeah, I look at Akib and I look like how scrawny and he'll die at any time, and I just give him enhanced armor so you have plus 2 to his AC.
Yeah!
Oh.
I actually need it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, question, can I still hatch? I don't mind rolling a stealth. I mean, a sleight of hand. I have a plus 16 on my sleight of hand. I should be okay.
Yeah, if you're using your action to use it anyway, I don't see why not. But up to DM.
Guidance. Guidance.
Yeah,
And
what is it?
I take a cue from you and I slap you with guidance.
Slapping's become the thing here.
and you see Dino, like Sir Nathaniel comes and keeps his clawed hand on your shoulder to give you help action, but it's very terrifying. It's very
I can't even imagine a robotic raptor just coming and putting its paw on you, doing
and the thing is, since it's made by me, its claws are so sharp, dude.
You know what? I'm just gonna imagine it as a Pokemon. Some Pokemon look like that.
Yeah, it says its own names.
Nathaniel!
It's canon. It's
Nathaniel
canon.
uses scratch.
Yeah.
Bless.
Again?
It's canon. Nathaniel says his own name whenever he's doing it.
Nathaniel!
So, listen, I'm okay if you say no. It's
Go. The adventure's only started. We can.
But
Oh, I was ready to call Mon for the next session.
mean people, man. Have some faith. I rolled a 15 this time. 15 plus
That's
16.
15, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You have slapped guidance
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
Oh, I have guidance also.
Yeah, please.
I'd
And
say.
did you roll with advantage?
Yeah, I'd say if you can cross a 19, you've got it.
Yeah, that's 31.
I have 30 something.
30? Oh my god.
15 plus 16 to 15.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
31.
I'd say you'd easily be able to do it. And honestly, Tina, you don't want to say it, but you're slightly impressed that this dude was able to.
I don't do it. Nathaniel does it himself. He wants to be petted so bad, but he's so fucking horrifying to look at.
Does Nathaniel want to be a real boy, like a real dino boy? Is he
I
kind
can.
of jealous of what's his name?
Vulcan.
It's more to do with I couldn't find find the soul or the essence of a T-Rex, and the closest was a Labrador dog.
I constantly try. I want to pet Nathaniel, but I'm just too afraid.
He's like spikes all over. Every part of him is sharp.
Okay, I use Mage Hand to pet Nathaniel.
He's mage
So
petted.
happy. He's so happy. He tries to lick you, and then he realizes he doesn't have a tongue.
Oh no! Oh, poor guy.
Okay, so
Damn.
so that's two hatchets.
Okay,
with
in the
sharp
meantime-
knives, okay?
DM, this ringing in my ears is kind of getting to me. Can I send Squawkzilla up in the air to kind of look, and I can like kind of look through her eyes?
Yeah, so you send like Squawkzilla up, and
I
Squawkzilla.
turn to Dina and I say, I'm going to be blinded for about a minute. Please don't let anything happen to me, and don't let Scatter slap me. And then I warg into Squawkzilla.
I just like
She's
have
paranoid.
Dino. I just have Dino standing right in front of her, so that like because I know that Scatter is kind of scared of this guy, of Nathaniel. So
I tell Volk, you're real.
So I'll say that would Nathaniel be able to take two people?
I could carry one of them.
Got it. So essentially, right now, like, what is this? The turn order doesn't really matter, but essentially, you would see like Evan going forward. He seems to be sitting on this massive buffalo, like a huge one, much bigger than any of your raptors, much bigger than any of you. It would reach like possibly Peria's waist when he's in like giant form, and
Oh.
it's like really big. And
But his second waist is not a lot. It's
Yeah.
like giant form. Okay.
I'm like so tempted
in
to
his,
cast
how big is your
enlarge-
giant form? Like 15 feet?
No. Some what is 4 times 7? It is 28 feet.
20.
28 feet. Okay, so yeah, he would this buffalo or this bull would be about like 10 to 12 feet tall. So it's huge, and it's able to take like those of you that don't have mounts on your own, like on this buffalo with him. So think of it as like Appa, okay, like and
Yeah, Shikha's gonna ask Evan for a lift because she's like, Evan, I have short legs. Help, please.
Evan's just like quite smitten by you, okay? Like you didn't even need to do anything, Shikha. And he's like, of course,
Go
okay. And he's being very gentlemanly, helps you get up. And
I
he looks at
backflip onto the.
and he looks okay. He looks at you and he's in awe, and he looks back again and he's just like, no, do not offer women help unless they ask for it. Okay, and he's just like, women are individuals and all that, and he's just like, I need to be strong, I need to be better, and he's just like muttering these to himself and going.
I look at Pista and go like, hey, and I cast enlarge on him. So he's now even taller than 28 feet.
No, only when I rage I'm 28. Right now I would be
Like 6 feet tall? Oh, wait a minute, shorter,
Like
5 feet tall?
7 normally, and then
You're 7
Well,
feet
I'm not.
tall as a dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You're not a dwarf, bro.
What do you mean I'm not a dwarf?
I actually look at Pista and I'm like,
Huh?
Wait. Sorry. Before that, just going back to Shika, since Shika, so you send Squawkzilla on up ahead, and all of you are traveling right now. You have the buffalo in the middle with Peria and Shika on it, and the raptor squad on either side. And you're going. Shika, how far would you like to send your out? I mean, your pterodon.
Yeah, 60 feet flying speed.
60 feet. Got it. So I
Yeah,
see
I'm sending her upwards so she can like kind of look to see she can get more perspective.
Got it. So it takes her about like a minute or two to get a good enough altitude to see more of the area around. So she's flown up, I'd
Yeah.
say, about 100 feet up. and has like
Okay.
quite an aerial view, just like within you still being able to communicate with her. Any higher
Yeah,
or
yeah.
any
More than
further,
100 feet, and I can't walk into her.
yeah, you can warp into her, but you can't command her anymore. I've learned new
Yeah.
rules about 5 familiars now.
Oh,
But
okay.
so you send it up, and she's flying over there. There are a couple of give me a perception check. And
Okay.
sadly,
Okay.
this will need disadvantage only because the mountains are misty ones.
Okay, it will stay at 23. I'm just telling you, huh?
23? Sorry,
Works.
23.
Yeah, that's my
No,
minimum.
Is it your
I'll roll.
owls?
I'll roll. You can.
Sorry, is it the pterodons? It won't be yours. It will be the pterodons.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. Oh no.
But they have advantage on perception. That's what I'm going
No,
on saying
they don't.
No. I think owls have advantage on perception.
They should.
Okay, we're not using pteranodon stats.
No. You'll have to use familiar
Okay,
stats.
thank you.
Oh wait, are
Yeah,
you
but
using?
then owls have
You're using the one that you had sent me, the lowered one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead with that itself. Yeah, my bad. I forgot about that.
Wait, so owl stats or no?
No. Go with the one that you had sent, the pterodon one.
Great, and their perception is a +1, and that's a disadvantage. Fantastic. That is a 15, and the other. Now let's see how I buggered the next one.
A 15?
12 with disadvantage.
12 with disadvantage. Okay, I'll get back to you on that in 10 minutes. Let's just take a quick break
Sure.
and come back. And everyone who's watching, thank you for being here. See you soon. And we're live! Hello everybody, welcome back to Giants of the Starforge, our D&D Beyond playtest of the one-shot over there. This adventure is set in the campaign, not in the campaign setting, but the expanded Giants source book that released called Glory of Giants. So do check it out after you finish watching this campaign, and please run it too if you'd like. Share the link below. But getting back to our scene, we had our little gnome, wizard, rogue, / what else are you? Wizard, rogue?
Cleric.
Partially cleric.
And cleric. Okay, actually a cleric.
A cleric who can't heal. Just letting you all know.
Which
As it should be.
And so last our gnome Shika had sent out her little pterodactyl, her pterodon into the skies to investigate the lands around them. And your pterodon...
Are the source of that sound also?
Yes, so Swakwild flies up high and goes and goes. It's a little hard on her wings, and even though you are in her mind and you can see through her, you can feel the resistance of this cold, icy wind holding her back from flying higher or faster. It also starts to chill the tips of her feathers a little bit, making her already scaly arms colder as well. Now, if she looks around, it's kind of hard to see in all this fog unless she can barely make out the gigantic buffalo that you're riding on right now with Perrier event. But when she follows the black lines that seem to be coming over the side of the mountain pass, you see in the distance, she's not really able to make out way too well. But in this mist, at times, there seems to be flashes of light that bleed through. And it does still seem to be at least like maybe 100 miles off, so it is pretty far off. But she looks around and sees a couple of different things, shapes changing in the landscape, where you can make out like habitations that have formed. You do think that maybe that might be where the monastery is. From your distance and your understanding, Shika, you do think that in maybe another 2 or 3 hours, you should cross the mountain pass and reach the monastery. Looking around it, you notice that there are a couple of other things. A stream that you can just about notice. Even a couple of mountains that take on a sort of reddish glow.
Okay. So like, have you seen how air hostesses do the exit presentation? That's how Shikha points out what she's witnessing.
Okay.
And on your right, you have a stream, and in front of you, 2 glowing red mountains. She's simultaneously doing this while completely blind because her vision is 100 feet up in the sky.
Monastery. I love it. So as you guys go, is there anything that you want to do? There's not really much that you encounter over here as well when you're going. The winds seem to be heavy. They start to pick up the more the day goes by. Right now, it seems to be approaching about like high afternoon. And the sun is quite high in the skies and it's beating down on you. It's just doing enough to get rid of the chill that's starting to seep through your clothing. In another hour or two, you reach what seems to be this fantastic monastery, a building that's carved into the side of a mountain itself. It has multiple levels and it's gorgeous to see because they have somehow blended nature and stone to create this building. So weaving in between the walls itself, you see are large, thick trunks of wood that sprouts out into lush leaves, pockets of leaves that stick out of this white, barren mountain edge. Walking slowly, and they look right now like tiny little dots. You notice people of a palish skin tone walking around wearing what seems to be different forms of cotton. What does get to you most immediately is they don't seem to be as heavily dressed as you are. But as you start getting closer, you notice that these individuals that are walking around are much taller than any of you, standing at about at least. Oh, wait, Paria, you're 6'5" or 7?
7.
7? Okay, so they would be around Paria's height. They have like woolly furish. Woolly fur hanging on like sides of like their arms and cheeks and all. Their nose is slightly more flattish. They have like these cute little floppy ears that stick out as well. And their hairs are all in tones of grey and reds and browns. They have these large, beautiful cow-like eyes. And they notice you as they approach, and for a second you see as guards at the monastery, stand guard and like stiffen up and look at you as you approach, but they relax a little when they see Elvin, and they look a little surprised, but immediately you can see that like they all seem to know him still, and they rush forward to approach you, and one of them goes like, "Brother Elvin, why are you here?" And Elvin replies to him, "Pauline, it's been hard. Uncle's been taken by the giants. We don't know if he's alive, but I'm just hoping that one of you will be able to help us." And you see as like they're like, of course, immediately, and they still look at the rest of you a little suspiciously, especially at Shika. Shika, have you gotten like Swakilda back?
Yes. She. This bird is her whole world. She can't bear to be parted with today.
Okay, done. So she comes back closer to you, but she's just like flying overhead. You notice that a lot of people are looking at you a little strangely, and it's not because you have dinosaurs with you, because there seems to be other dinosaurs here as well. You see larger ones, you see stronger animals, you see herbivorous dinosaurs feeding off to the side. You notice that there aren't many carnivorous ones, and you think that the raptors are a little odd here, but they don't seem to be shaken by that. They do seem to be shaken by the extent of your technology though, Tina, and they're in awe. You see, as you're walking by, there are a lot of peoples of different races standing around, all of them cloaked in simple monk clothing, but they stand and they whisper, and some of them laugh. Who has the highest insight here? Passive insight.
17.
Oh yeah, still the same, right? 23. I'd say that all of you.
No, not me.
Okay, but I think all of you.
17.
All of you have above 15 insight, passive.
No.
No.
14.
What?
13.
The barbarian has the highest insight, okay?
You're a wise guy.
So, and I'd also say that, like, kind understands kind. And as you're going in, like, Peria, you notice that this is a stronghold of warriors. There might be a lot of people standing around looking like scholars, like thinkers, but that's because they know that it's not enough to have brawn. You have to have your brain as well. And they all study you, like assessing. None of them think you are weak. They all know exactly who you are. You're all heroes. You have... You're all heroes. All of you have excelled in your lives in some way. And you all carry scars of those. But more than that, all of you are riddled with powerful weapons as well. And these monks that are following you, you do see that none of them carry weapons of their own, but they acknowledge your strength. And some of them whisper to each other. You see some newer ones whisper to each other. They're like, do you think they're going to go to defeat the giants? Another whispers like, he doesn't look stronger than me. I could take him on. And he assists you, Peria, looking at you up and down. And another
Can
person.
I just say that the moment he says he
Oh
can...
my god.
You
Can I
would have
just
been able
one
to
thing?
hear it. It's only Peria.
Okay.
So, like, it's more like, Peria, you can choose to react if you want, but it's essentially.
SKM dirty looks.
Yeah, and like somebody
Can
else
I-
is just like, what is that thing? And they're looking at the raptor suspiciously, like, is it a bomb?
Can I try something, please?
Mhm.
Okay, no, I can't hear them obviously, but I'm pretty sure I can see that they're staring. I want to stealth message at one of them. I pretend to scratch my nose, so
Okay.
it doesn't, so I don't give away that I'm casting the cantrip. Just any random one, just stealth message at them and just like use a fake voice and whisper to them. It's rude to stare. Except the voice is in their heads.
And you hear a voice say back to you, it's rude to come here unannounced. And
Oh my god!
To come here?
unannounced.
Oh shit!
Oh my god! Shika pale in terror.
Could I just start whistling and then like I just hum a song and it basically goes, "We're all giant killers, don't fuck with us." Shika killed the biggest giant. I killed the second biggest giant. Shika killed a dragon.
She did. She got side to side and
do.
agreeing. Yep.
You do have like, some faces that look like Shikas where they're like, oh, really?
I will say this. Do I see like youngins, like, like very small kids around?
Not where you are right now. You do feel like this might be like the front entrance to a much larger space, and what could be familial quarters might be huddled off to a side elsewhere inside so that it's more protected from any frontal attack.
I like look at all of this and then I just like I look at Shikha's full face being white. I look at Peria kind of not being very happy, and I kind of like look like I don't like turn back and I'm like, hello, I'm Dina. This is Sir Nathaniel. This is Peria. This is fuck. I was gonna say Akim. This is Scatter. And this is Shikha. And who might you be? Rather than you staring at us, I would rather just introduce and try to strike up a conversation. And let me say that. This is not something I'm thinking. I'm like, rather just to have you guys stare at us, I would rather just you guys ask us whatever it is.
And they speak back to you and say, how do you not know that you were staring at us first? You walk in here. Look at us. We do not know who you are.
Exactly. So I introduce myself. And you are?
And you do notice that there seems to be like an uneasiness air among them. The person that you spoke to right now seems to be like this really haughty elf that just like looks at you and just sticks their nose up in the air and just like puts their hair at the back and walks off. And
careful there. My dino has a very sharp claw. If you want, you can try it out.
and she laughs and goes back.
Oh dear.
My dragon has bigger. And she walks away. And when does
I'm sorry. Scatter is just going like shit, so much vicious mockery.
So the two guards leading Evan and all of you in, okay, and one turns to you and says like, do not feel too slighted by that. We do not always have new visitors here.
Oh, no worries. Why would I get slighted by someone whose ego is going to give them a kick anyway? I mean, their downfall is just waiting for them. Why would I give a shit about that?
It's true. It's one of the first lessons we learn as well.
Hubris.
Hey, Evan. I just whispered to him and said, "Why does everybody here hate us? I haven't even done anything to them
And
yet."
They hate us because they ain't us.
Oh, damn! Oh.
Evan looks back at
Get
you,
a minor,
Shaka, and
get a minor illusion shades on Peria.
I just like you know that meme when someone does this and I just pause. I just like I do it, so I didn't say it.
so like he says to you, like, and everyone's just a little on the edge right now. Giants have not visited this valley in decades, maybe a century even.
Oh.
It does make you a little sterner when everything you've worked your life for, that generations of your family, of your kind, have worked towards something, and that something seems to land in your lap. All of them here. And this is when the guard puts in as well, like, yes, some of us were born into this monastery. Others have come here to learn the way. But I think the seriousness, it feels almost like, and he laughs, and you see this guy's like a little more chill looking. He's just like, it feels like almost a final examination quickly approaching. These skills that we've honed over so many years. I mean, we've just been guarding this monastery against blizzards, against weird abominations that have started to creep up recently. But giants themselves? Now I can't confidently say that the majority of us here have actually seen a giant. And he says that to you hesitantly, because it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant or a service and you talk to someone who's working there, and like these people are like, yeah, this is the best restaurant in the world, okay? But then there's one person who goes like, sometimes, we reuse the rice from yesterday, okay? That sort of way. It's like, I don't want to say it, we're still really good, but sometimes we're not really the best, okay? Sort of way.
So you said that this monastery has been protecting itself from the outside forces. Has there been an increase of, say, the outside forces interfering with the affairs of the monastery?
Yes, the dark liquid, as soon as it started sweeping across the landscape, we've had abnormalities crop up. Creatures we haven't seen before. I must say, you should consider yourself lucky that you did not come across one of them on your way here. Most of the travelers that come here to learn the way of the giants, the way to fight them, to take them down, they don't survive even the journey up here. He looks at Evan and he's like, Evan doesn't give himself enough credit. He's a fantastic explorer and he's very good at knowing his terrain. The only reason that you would have gotten here without coming through against any other encounter is probably because he knows it like the back of his hand. And Evan just like blushes and he's like, oh no, no. And he's just like, where is Diasma? Is she here today? Is she meditating? Can we talk to her? Of course. I'm taking to see you right now. And he leads you into what seems to be like a training pit of sorts, so a training ground. And in the middle of it, here's where you find a lot of your younglings, but you see like a lot of children of different races, all of them very pale, white cotton clothing, standing around this tall, beautiful cowish woman with gorgeous red locks, just hanging down her back. You see that she has a little more of age to her face, but that twinkle of life in her eyes seem to have never have died. And even now, she's just like, she pretends, you see her as she like pretends to scold the kids and give them like a talking to. They're all like looking down at their feet and, being quite like looking guilty as hell. And she looks and all and she's like, now, what have I told you, children? I have told you all that you should never, ever, ever attack until everyone's ready. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? And then they just go like, yes, Miss Diazma. And then she's just like, I can't hear you. And it's like, yes, Miss Diazma. And she's like, ha ha ha. And then you see as like another one of her props right behind the children and like quickly scoops up a massive handful of like snow and just chucks it at the children, okay? And immediately you see this sort of
Massive
like snow, like a snowball, and like chucks it at the children, and immediately you can see like two of her start like throwing snowballs at the kids, and the kids start throwing snowballs at her, and like this.
Kshema, don't go away from mic. Be at the mic.
You just have to
When
be
you
like
move
this.
away, we lose everything. Yeah, quite literally. Or if you can move it for like closer to your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, so like she keeps chucking these snowballs at these kids. The kids are also snacking. Like, what happened?
I'd really like to join it.
Go ahead.
I will say this. As per usual, wife left. Tina is in love with this woman. And I will tell you why. Because she looks at this and she goes, like, she can fix Daniel. It's not her kid. She's just very tired of this kid. She can fix. And then she sees like, Daniel, not Nathaniel. Nathaniel is perfect.
Smelly
He is
kid.
beyond reproach.
The smelly kid.
Yeah. But yeah, like she, and also because like she's teaching kids and like teaching her community how to fight and learn, and she's all about that life, baby.
Education. Oh Lord! But I'd like to go and pick up a snowball and aim it for.
Me too.
If other people from the party are joining, I go up to one of the kids and say, she's worth 30 points.
Oh my god, you don't even need to persuade this kid. The kid just like looks at her and goes like, attack! And you see like this kid and two other kids come and like, we will take you down, lady! And like, they try to throw, and you should come, and she is like faster than the wind, I'm assuming.
She can't climb the wall. She can't climb the wall at this point of time.
And then she's
Look,
like,
Shekha
wow!
can dodge rainfall.
That is so cool. But like, you see the kids are like, they're like, Miss Diazma, look at him!
Kids said the most fucked up shit.
YouTube censored it.
YouTube was like, no.
Oh my god.
What are you saying?
What did you guys hear it at?
I heard, and then that's what I
I would also like to inculcate that I said Miss Diazma and not Miss the Asthma. Okay.
No one thought that until now.
I don't know what you guys are saying.
With that tangent, I like as these guys are fighting, I slide next to Miss Diaz. Hello.
And she's like right now like holding on to this kid who's just kind of like trying to like put snow on her face, and she like lifts him and keeps him in like a cradle and laughs and looks at you, and she's like, oh, hello there. I forgot which accent I was using.
You know the southern accent.
I started with thinking I'd go
Hey,
Scottish, and
Dad.
then I
With a
heard
WWE accent.
Then I heard Akim, and then I was like,
Your southern might be way better.
so is it. Hello, y'all. How are you doing there?
Oh my god.
And the
Oh
kids
my.
she's holding, so I carry these like very small, like sort of tinkering kits, like to sort of help kids get more curious and as this kid is kind of like doing this, I literally sort of like give a toy to the kid, but it's like an informational toy, you know what I mean? Like he can tinker with and hope that he calms down with that because he has
holds
something
it?
else.
He holds it, looks at the others, and like, we can throw this at her. Okay, and then just
Yeah?
go
Yeah.
to throw at Shika.
Nice.
I'd like to
She can now
imagine.
further climbing walls.
Oh, she's going higher. Oh my god.
I'm giving bardic inspiration to children.
I'd like to imagine you wanted to give a Rubik's Cube, and by mistake you picked the Infernal Cube, and all the kids are going to hell.
My
Just like
Oh my
breathing
God.
fire. But yeah, as this is happening, this is really nice that you try and empower your community. That's really cool of you.
Well, so many families have been lost to chance. I can't look at you guys when doing this.
Please, yeah.
Guys, I'm trying to flirt. Unless wingman me or cover your faces. Go ahead.
Sorry, okay.
But that's awfully nice of you, lady. But it's been kind of hard over here. A lot of these families have lost their lives to monstrosities over the years, and a lot of people think of this as a stronghold, place for families to be safe, for them to gather, keep each other company. I don't want it feeling like a prison.
Which is I think you're doing some commendable work here. I do get the place you're coming from because that has kind of been my lifelong work, you could say. And is there any way I can help? I would like to know what else is happening and what I can perhaps do in order to, if there are tools I can provide or anything I could provide from my own expertise to help this place become a bit more resourceful. I would love to be of help in any way.
Well, I'd definitely say that we could use some market linkages because it's very hard to get fresh produce. Everything up here is frozen. We keep trying to grow things. These druids come, do their druid craft, and be like, ha ha ha, here's a gooseberry. Who wants a gooseberry? We need real food.
Oh my god.
She says that, and so it's like this very weird thing. This lady has also proven herself to be somewhere the same kind of insane I am. And so I go like, show me the field. I don't know what I'm
Can I?
Can
I know I'm being wailed on.
Go for it, bro.
I know I'm being wailed on, but can I hear this?
I would definitely say no because there's just a lot of noise here.
If you want, I can be like,
Okay.
yes, I'm a bigger target here.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll attract kids' attention.
The kids will be
Like,
like,
Okay.
Is Shikha kind of trying to get in and in a very when you
No.
meet someone. Oh, okay.
no, she's just trying to
Oh,
hear.
I was not trying to butt in. I just pictured here. Is there a window in this monastery?
Yes, you do have so think of it like an old school building of sorts, the way that it would be like this sort of spherical colosseum sort of shape. And in the middle of it, you have a bigger ground that's open to the skies. So on one side, you have the main mountain itself. So you feel like a lot of these rooms go into the mountain and have passages inside. But the section you're in right now is more of a sort of plateau that's extending out of the mountain itself. And it's quite clear that a lot of this does look man-made, or at least with the aid of some sort of arcane arts. The people here themselves don't seem the most arcane proficient. They seem to be more skilled in like physicality, because right now looking around at these people, though she said this problem about food, all of them are lean. There is no malnourishment around. There is like no sort of obesity or like people that are just ridiculously thin or underweight. You have people that are well toned, they're muscular. The children too seem to be ones that can, really still stand in a fight, at least one against the people their own age, But all of them they seem to lead a sort of discipline, and even though Diazma seems a little like more lighthearted and open, the people around, they're quite soft, they're jolly, but they don't seem, you see a couple of them, like just roughhousing each other and things like that. But there seems to be this sort of like simple sensibility that exists in this place. And that's also why people are looking at you curiously, because what makes you look strange are the riches that you carry on you, the armor that you have, the items that you've procured on your journeys. The way that you look itself, has a sort of magnificence that none of them carry. And even the older ones that look at you, they have quiet determination in your eyes. I would also say, you would have noticed this, Peria, while walking through. A lot of the ruins and things written around are in Giant. So you see things like motivational sayings, almost like "never fester," "go ahead strong," or like "do not let doubt corrupt you," and things like that, And a lot of it is about the fortitude of the mind and body and things like that. And I'd say that if you were to, even while you were walking and hearing people that were walking around and all, many of them were discussing things in Giant. So you do think that the preferred language that they speak in over here is Giant. But and Shika, I'd say that now that the kids have left, you would hear like the tail end of like Diazma's words, which was who wants a gooseberry. Okay. And essentially that's where we are at right now. Would you like to do anything?
Yeah, in a bid to avoid those kids, Shika has found herself hanging upside down of a window in a desperate bid to avoid them. So she hears the tail end of the conversation, and she looks at upside down. She looks at Dina and says, "D- for floating."
Huh? What?
And like
you guys are flirting.
Oh my! Are you flirting with me now, man? Not in front of the children.
Oh, never. And I look at Shikha and go like, yes.
And then
I slow clap in the background going like, D- for flirting. I get all the children like, hey, slow clap.
I backflip onto the floor and take a bath.
As all of this is happening, I look at her and be like, okay, so you're saying that essentially the issue is that you do not have a place to grow your own produce, which then makes you dependent on other folks and their craft, correct?
It is true. We usually send out messengers to nearby towns to get us back produce whenever they can, but it's been a little difficult with the problems happening and stuff.
I look at her and I'm like, I'm gonna build you a greenhouse.
Oh.
All you have to do. I'm not gonna think about Stardew Valley right now. All you have to do is wait for 1 year after that. you have to feed these to the juniors. No. So what I say is like, I will couple of things. Where is it that you get the most sunlight? And I will personally build you machines, and this is not a lot of work for me. I'll personally build you machines that till and fertilize your crop. The only thing you might have to do is sow the seeds. And I sort of like give her a list. I go like, hey, now with your messengers, so this is like, I don't tell her what my mission is, and I just say like, because I don't know how much information I can give, and also because my party members, I kind of go like, there's a thing I need to get done, and I think it should take like a few days. In that time, I need you to get some glass panes, some wood. I need you to get some sacks of soil. Since the soil, even if the one that we unearthed on the mountain has been so frozen solid that no like matter of digging. Like I'm like kind of like honed in. This is my flirting, like where I'm like, I'm gonna solve your problem.
So she's listening to you quite patiently and smiling, and she has this flirtatious look on her face as well. But it takes her a second, and then she looks past you, and you see that her face saddens immediately, and she like immediately like like the children that are like clutching at her skirts and calling to her, she just like pats them and gives them a smile, and she looks at you and says, I apologize. I see a friend. And she doesn't realize that Evan's with you guys, but walks to him. And you see as she gives him a hug. And you can hear, and she's like maybe a few feet away from you, Shika, right like below you at this moment. And like Diazma looks up at you curiously and just like is like, okay, something you don't see every day, and walks over to Evan, and she was like, Evan. It's good to see you've healed up. And this thing, Evan's just like...
Did she notice the armor fits in better?
Oh my god! Can I see you said that out loud, and then like she maybe looks at you and goes like, "Good job."
Hey, I'm just saying, just because she might not be into me doesn't mean I won't wingman him. You know what I mean?
So she goes and gives him a hug, and she says, "Evan, it's good to see that you're feeling better. Apologize that we haven't been able to get Theldin back yet, but we are working hard. The next party should be going, if not tomorrow, at least the day after." And she keeps saying it again and again. I apologize again. Our squad's been diminishing. The things that have been cropping up around, it's been eating away at us. And I fear if we live here, will there be any life left anymore? But also, and she looks at Evan, and like her whole demeanor changes, and she like catches on of his shoulder and says, but it makes you feel alive, doesn't it? Giants so close by, giants that you can hit.
She's
finally.
made for me.
It's terrifying me.
It's like the wonder, the power. Can you hear it, Evan? And Shika, you hear this, and then you see as like the asthma holds Evan's shoulders, and she looks off to the distance where you had seen that light from. She goes like, can you hear it? The sound of giants returning to the forge. What they must be making, what they must be scheming, and how we shall finally put an end to it all. And she's just like so ecstatic, like essentially like she, it's like a little creepy, but you can see that this is a fighter who has worked her whole life for one purpose and one purpose alone, and now she finally gets to do exactly that purpose. And she's like, as soon as we can get close enough, as soon as we can fix the lake, as soon as that lake stops polluting and corrupting around us, we are going to get Brismelda's head. And At this point, does anybody join in the anything?
I don't think anyone is near Dina. She just whispers.
She got terrified of her.
Kara is not. Is
Cat is
nearby.
actually not listening to this. He's just looking at kids going like, okay, what color's my eyes? And then changes every time. I was entertaining the kids as much as possible.
Hey, how many kids are there? Number?
About 10, I'd say.
Perfect. It's not even going to cost me a spell slot, so I'm going to like create Goodberry and distribute it among them.
You ass!
They look at you and they look at it like you give like those calcium chewables, okay? And they're just like, no more! We already had our Goodberry.
I scream out in like full mode. Attack her! She's worth 50 now!
Meanwhile, the kid.
I shimmy up the walls again. Oops.
They seem very enamored by you right now, Scatter. They're like, yes, Captain! Somebody might... I'm assuming you said at some point, my name is Scatter and I command you.
I am at this point, my idea is to make these like my little cult members.
They are so
Oh my
fab.
God.
You see, like,
As
people...
that's happening, can I just go to Scatter and give him like again these stinker tools? Like again, this is not because whatever, it's just like trying to educate kids, make them more curious, blah blah. I don't tell that to Scatter. I'm just like, here you go, give one to a kid, and I leave. He has no idea. I just give it, man.
Yeah, I go like, throw this!
Yeah, I jump out the window.
You jump up the window, you look in, and you do notice that there is a room of people just like doing what you assume to be like calligraphy. They're going on like drawing different symbols and keeping it aside. None. From the experience you have had traveling with Peria, you assume that they're writing things in giant.
I can read giant.
Meanwhile,
What is it?
It's mostly things about what you have heard. Give me a history check so I know how much you know about giants. I mean, if you know the language, you should know something about them, right?
34.
34? Okay. So you do read that these
Just
seem
another
to...
day. Just another day for Shikha.
You do notice that a lot of
I'm
these...
sorry. Like the campaign logs, man.
Hey, listen,
Oh, I see it.
it's rad as hell to hear these like big boy roles. It feels like something else. Okay.
So you're looking at the scripts and they seem to be different ways of taking down different types of giants. You see that you have a couple of people that are writing like things of like, you know, where the fire giants come from or where the cloud giants were last seen. And it seems to be like people just like a network of people collecting information from other places as well. Like you look at envelopes that are opened and the insignias on them, and you notice that these are like sigils of cities that are far, far beyond the sea that you travel to come here. And you notice that this seems to be like they're sharing information between each other to kind of build and gather where giants are currently existing in this world.
Spy network. Because now excited.
And I'll say right below you, Evan's like telling Diazma, like, Madam Diazma, I have brought with me heroes, well-seasoned ones as well. They said they would assist me. One of them also knows Uncle Theldin, knows of what he's capable of.
I will say one thing, like the toolkits that they are throwing, the thing is every time we throw it, it keeps turning into different animals and walking around. That's it. Because it's all about curiosity. So it's kind of like every time you throw it something else, at some point the kid will be like, what else it can do? That's the idea.
That's so cool. It's really cute. And I also imagine like because of the sort of landscape that you're in right now, it keeps turning into like different small dinosaurs.
Yeah. And I give one to like actually even like our other team members, but I give 2 to Shikha because I feel like she will go insane about that. I'm like, yeah, here you go, have to.
Shika, you feel 2 things being thrown at you. And I would imagine
This time I catch
you
them.
turn and catch
This
them.
time I catch them. Yeah.
I love it. I love the idea
Yeah,
of
I
Dina
catch
just
it.
walking around throwing these toys.
Yeah, and like they come and they sort of like turn like, so they, like since you're like jumping around, they turn into like a spider, and then as you look at it, turns into a box and falls in your hand.
That's mad.
Whoa!
Damn it! I want to keep it now. I look for the kid. I gave the thing to.
I did.
The Diasma looks at all of you and says like, "Oh, have you all come to assist me? Why don't you all come inside, get like a little cup of coffee, and just discuss this further."
Sure, it takes my jug of coffee.
Hey, can you call your kids off, please? I shall jump
yes,
down
yes.
accordingly.
Children, calm yourself. Return now for your other studies. And they all like look at you. They look at you and they're just like, "Oh, you want to play with Captain Scatter more?" And like, she's just like, "Now, I'm sure that Captain Scatter can stay for another day."
I was about to continue the
stealth
chat,
run
but
away
then I was
from
like, okay. I was like, yeah, children, like go, yeah, fine, yeah, go.
Fuck off.
And at this point, the bunch
Can I
of kids
stealth-
attacking
Can I
Peria.
stealth escape?
Sorry, 1 second. Peria, you were saying?
The bunch of kids attacking Peria. Peria had let them out of this courtyard area, and he has been collecting all the snow they've been throwing at it. And now he has turned the tables. He has gathered all the snow, made one giant snowball, and is just like chasing the children with it now.
They're like,
Can I-
the Chinese are attacking!
Can I just like suggest? Can I just suggest like one better? You can take all the snow and then sort of like put it on you, and now you're this giant snowman running.
So much-
Yeah, the snow is just like, snowball now.
Halloween edition, like.
So Evan tells like what's her name, Diasma, that I brought seasoned heroes, and she turns around, sees the artificer lady who's flirting with her, throwing out toys that turn into different animals. She looks at this tiefling on the side who calls himself King Captain Scatter and goes like, "Charge, children!" You see the other. Then looks to the other side and sees this largish, gruff-looking man covered in snow that's going like, "Whoa!" And snow like falls off him. And lastly, she sees up and sees this little gnome hanging out the window, looking inside, who just kind of like goes like as if like, "You can't see me." She doesn't see her anymore. And she's like, "Well, they certainly are interesting, aren't they? Well, come on in. And she kind of takes you all into this little study where you all settle down. She discusses, here's what all of you have, like, here's about, what you have inquired, about who you are, and goes like, and then starts to like,
Name's Dina. That's it. I don't have a last name.
well, we're caught in a bit of a predicament because I'm sure Dina and Shika, you seem pretty smart as well. I'm pretty sure both of you might have seen papers at least, or noticed the black substance trickling down the mountainsides.
I also saw. Like, okay.
I don't mean to insult you, sir. I'm sure you have a fantastic singing voice.
Wait, how do you? What? Did you just assume I was a bard? But I am.
You
so
don't.
it's okay.
I mean, you don't look. And she kind of like looks to Dina like he doesn't look smart or strong. I just assumed. Okay.
I mean, you're right. Do you want to see he sings on command? And I like sort of like start like a karaoke machine for you to start singing.
I am deeply offended, but I do take the mic.
It's Yakuza time, baby.
How does that sound go? Yashate.
With like montages of him with his friends.
And like Diaz was like thoroughly enjoying this. Okay, she's like she has this sort of like lightheartedness to her, and even the way she sits is like with her legs spread apart and it's just like arms over her shoulder, just looking at all of you. And she goes like, well, I could use the assistance. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of our best warriors have been taken off in the last couple of days where we're dealing with those poisonous monstrosities, dealing with the goddamn giants, making sure the fucking dragon doesn't come back. It's been a hellhole, but
we can take care of that.
Although, have you figured out a way to deal with the acid?
Well, we do know that giants that used to live there, and she looks over to like Evan and like, and this is something that actually Theldin was telling me about the last time he came here. But he did say that when giants used to, stay or harbor at the habitat at the Starforge, one of the ways they kept the water from getting contaminated was with these magical runes that they had placed around in the center of the lake. I do believe that if we were to go and correct the runes or activate them in some way, we should get the purification system started again. But
I think I can assist with that.
I'm glad you can, because honestly speaking, we're at our wits' end. Like, none of us know how to deal with arcane arts. Most of us are, we know how to pack a good punch, do light cooking sometimes, say a good joke, but understand what all this magic shit's about? Not really. And we did try. We did try to, get someone to go there, survey the spot, try and understand what the runes were about and come back, but we haven't seen them yet. So I'm not too sure where they are. I'm trying hard to keep a straight happy face here. And honestly, things are quite grim. But we have 3 potential things that we would encounter, and I'd like you to advise you about is, first, we need to set the runes straight. Now, if we go to the lake, you should find it. I'm not sure how it looks yet, but if you see anything shiny or has something written on it, maybe it could be the runes. I'm sure you can handle that, Dina.
Must be the rules of purification.
Let me, and she kind of like calls one of the guards from outside and says like, could you go call this caller? Yeah. And like, he just rushes up and like, oh, well, I think they might be able to explain it better than I, at least, and how you could read it. But I do believe that it might be broken, or at least unlinked in some way, and relinking it should get it to start working. I'm not too sure, like, most of what they tell me is gibberish. Now, the things that
If there is something else stopping it and destroying it would restore these runes, then that I can do.
And I can probably build the make of the link, so to speak, and get the purification machine started.
you need to, but there are 2 things you need to be cautious about. Now, this, whatever the substance might be in the lake, this acidic substance seems to have corrupted the life forms around, and they seem to be reacting in weird ways. We might come across a couple of them on our way there, but this sort of corruption could hinder our journey forward. Another thing as well is crossing the lake. The lake could be incredibly acidic in nature, and one of our surveyors came back and said that even standing near it, the fumes are so strong, it could have you fainting. But he also did say that he found some script written on a wall in Giant that informed him of protective rings that you could find. And wearing those protective rings could take you across this lake without harming you. Another thing that is a bit frustrating is Brimskarda herself. Now, the giant Brimskarda, I'm not...
What? Sorry?
Brimskarda.
Brimskarda, I'm not sure if... No, the giant that came down to take Theldin, her name's Brimskarda. And anybody, if anybody wants to know whether they remember the name, you can give me history or insight. It'll be advantage for you, Kush.
Okay, I'll do insight.
History.
Okay.
Ask for insight, right?
Insight if you don't want to do history. Insight would be to see if she's lying or if you feel like any of this...
Sorry, I thought I heard insight. Yeah, history. So that is 16 with advantage.
16, okay. Shikha?
I have 35.
Okay, cool.
I saw that appear on. Okay, this is what happened. Okay, it appeared, and I was just like, "What?" She knows the module also.
And she starts saying, I know Brimskarda by reputation now. The fire giant, she's regarded really well among her kin.
Can't hear.
Yeah, it sounds like you're cussing in between.
I don't know why it's so bad. God. Is it better here?
It's not the quality, it's just cutting off at random points. I know.
I don't know why.
Do that again, like where you were like a little bit back.
Here? Is it better?
Yeah, try. Like now try. I hope it's okay.
So, I only know Brimskarda by reputation, Once upon a time, the fire giant was well regarded among her kin. She, if I remember correctly, held a position of somewhat greater power in what they call the ordning. But let's just say that Brimskarda has not been doing too well the last couple of years. We've noticed that she's been bested by mere humans, in their words, before. And this has kind of shaken her position a little in the ordning. So, giants can't have that happening. So, Brimskarda, I think what her scheme is to kidnap Theldin and possibly exploit his skill. That's no doubt she's planning to exploit his extraordinary skill in crafting almost anything. And I fear that she might be making something that we would have no way to stop once it's been built.
I'm afraid it might already be built.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, positivity, we can manifest destiny,
Oh God! Oh no, honey! No.
We can't manifest
No. Do you know the history of manifest destiny?
Like my poems used to tell me cool things about manifesting destiny.
Manifest destiny was, I think, told by Christopher Columbus when he entered America, and they were killing Native Americans, and that is what it was used for.
I go wow, Christopher sounds like a dick.
What's America?
Oh, you have it right there.
Oh yes. America is this savage land where women have no rights and children are born to die.
Oh my God. So, Shikha, since you got since you got like a 36 on your roll,
35.
35. I'm going to give you a little more information. Now, a couple of things that you do know. when you hear, and this is also because you know giant as well, the ordning is what the giants kind of, it's kind of like complex, like social ranking within themselves. And you know certain lore from how it comes. It comes from the great like father, the great father whose name I can't remember right now, but essentially the father of all giants. When he created these giants, based on what each giant is, they get like a place in the ordning. And this goes in terms of how large and how powerful the giant is. So this would usually be with like, there are like 6 main types of giants, with the first one being always storm giants on top. And they're followed by like cloud giants. I mean, this is just more additional information for you guys, but like it's cloud giants, fire giants, frost, stone, and hill. This is the sort of ranking that giants have, and to be taken out of the ordning is to show that you have essentially been expelled in some way. So, and this is also a reason why, like, if a hill giant were to approach, like, say, like a storm giant, okay, storm giant would be impossible, but like if a hill giant were to like even come in front of like a frost giant, it would still treat it as massively inferior. And for a giant to be that's placed in a higher ordning to be like taken out of it would be to just kind of like really bring shame to them. So you do understand the importance of trying to get an achievable enough feat to get there. Another thing that happens when, and this is only because of your inquisitive mind and the information that you saw upstairs as well on the sheets. But when she says this about the weapon, it's like a word comes into your mind, you know, like a name almost. And it's weird because you remember it as having read this word off a sheet of paper in that room, but in your head you hear it as a whisper. And what it says is ruining colossus.
Ruinic Colossus.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just hear it as a whisper.
Okay.
Ruining colossus.
No.
Okay. Is there any of Shikha knowing what that means, or
So, so this is some fantastic lore. Okay. So at the start of like giant civilization, when giants were formed and they were thriving, they were also at war with dragons. Now, they were on equal footing in this war with dragons, but they had to find a way to, like, you know, the thing is that they're as big as dragons, they're as powerful as dragons, but not all giants are as smart as dragons are. And they wanted to find a way to create, like, essentially like a sort of anti-dragon weapon that could eradicate a whole species. And this is a story that you remember from an old book you read, Shikha, ages and ages ago. Something called The Saga of the Dragon Caller, where it takes you through, like, and this is supposed to be fact, okay, but it's written in the form of like a story or almost, okay. It talks about this desperate group of giants that kind of finally, you know, having seen their kin fall over and over and over again to dragonkind, come together and in efforts to like protect their empire from this one particular giant that came. You can't remember its name now. That came to attack it. Stone and hill giants came together to create a form made from living stone. You see, you remember the way, and this also kind of is how you connect with the ordning as well, because you remember stone and hill connect. collected the rock. Cloud and forest gathered rare metals. Fire forged them. And then, Cloud and, I'm going to start over again. Stone and Hell got the material together, got the stone together. Cloud and Frost gathered raw materials and placed them. Fire giants molded and shaped these into flexible joints and plated armor. And storm giants inscribed runes to give it life. And the fruit of their labors combined created an everlasting guardian, the first runic colossus.
It's the weapon is a person.
It's more like
Armor?
A construct.
A construct.
Yeah, a construct.
Yeah.
If it's like with the hill giants, I'll probably have.
This is since Shikha doesn't know the people here, she doesn't want to reveal how much she already knows in case of unsettling somebody. So whatever this what do you call it? This improvised flash of genius that she's had. Okay, fraudulent flash of genius that she's had. She's going to condense it and message cantrip it to her party member.
Okay. And and it's a little hard for you to hear a bit of the information that, like, I mean, but I'll also say that you can mostly, I think message only works on one person at a time. So I'm just going to say
one
that,
at a
like,
time.
it's kind of like the information is slowly being shared with the group over the time, but Diasma is still talking to you guys, and she tells about the Brimskarda and the ordering and all this, and lastly she says, now this is a bit of a thorn in our side, and it could get a lot harder later, but right now the giants seem to be taking care of it for us, but in the time that, he hasn't really annoyed us till now, and he hasn't come flying about. It's like, he hasn't really annoyed us till now, and he hasn't been flying about like he usually does. Hello.
Hi.
Is it me?
Oh, thank God. I've been gaslighting myself and telling myself it's my internet.
No, even I can see my green box disappearing. I don't know what's wrong with the mic, but I can see it. I saw it. Anyway, so she says the last thing that's been annoying us now. There's been a thorn in our side for quite some time now, but when the giants had abandoned the forge and didn't come back, another started to reside in its place instead. A particular red dragon. He has mostly kept to himself, hasn't really interfered with us too much, but and I did hear that the fire giants are keeping him at bay right now, but if he did return and if he ever did come back to, call home again, that could be a problem for us. But anywho, y'all look great, y'all look grand, but I don't think I can trust you yet. How about we have a little game? And if you win, I'll give you something fun.
Oh, I love games.
How about we have a what?
What kind of game?
Well,
Okay.
let's just say that, over here in the monastery, the Fireside Monastery, we have a bit of a rite of passage that all of us go to, show that you're worthy on taking on the giants. And honestly, like, I'm sure you all saw the looks outside. And
I understood. Fight. I get it.
And honestly, something. That's
and
all.
honestly,
Yeah.
you probably seen the looks outside. How about like garnering a little bit of praise for yourself before you leave? I'm sure there are others who'd want to join as well. You don't need to do this alone. Like,
Sure.
all of us are
Yeah.
excited to fight giants, but loosen
I
up
like
those
the sound of
muscles.
that.
Get it a little. Let's exercise.
Exercise.
Oh no.
MC.
Wow, y'all went on a different tangent.
I was on your tangent, Kush.
I will say this. I'll be like, cool. I mean, I don't think any of us would mind a fight. If anything, I guess we have been itching for one.
Oh, no. Fight? No. We're going to have plenty of that. This is a challenge. It's a skill test. Come on. Show your skills.
Shishi says challenge. I look at you guys and go like, guys, it's a challenge.
Here's Playtest jumps up and says, let's do this.
But as that's all is happening, I'm like, very fair. I understand you don't trust us. We will do the challenge. I will still urge you to get the materials for the greenhouse.
I can arrange for that. I think you could write it down. She's just kind. Your friend was just kind enough to offer to build us a greenhouse at the back. Get some fresh.
No, I could help with that. And you see, there's a huge huge shovel behind Peria. He like always carries a shovel with him. I love building.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be nice. Maybe like after we go, like she makes it like it's really downplaying the importance of the movie. Yeah, let's go beat up Brimskarda.
It's like making it so much dirtier.
I'm gonna cut these out and just add bleeps.
I'm gonna take out my bleep. Say I can help with that. But this is where we're gonna end the session for tonight.
Hey.
All of you are sitting around all of you are sitting in this resting room together, and you hear all this information. It's a lot for you to process. I hope you guys can hear any of this. And we are going to end episode 1 for tonight. And next week, we are going to do a couple of fun challenges. So,
nice. Excited. Hell yeah.
thank
Evan
you.
do a backflip. Yeah.
You bet 50 backflips I'll do right now.
Yeah, this session was insane. Thank you to everybody who joined us. I hope you heard half of what I said at least. And
wow. Right at least half. The rest of the half.
Yeah.
Like,
I
hope you
said
have
at least.
This is scripted at this point.
Okay.
Hope you have like a shit day, motherfucker. There are more fucking snakes. Oh, more fucking snakes.
click like it.
Should we like go out on a
On a duo? Yes. Now, before we end our session for today.
on a doom thing, like a doom it all?
Like everything is slow motion. Like Scatter is like slowly cocking his gun. Dina is just like slowly putting her glasses like this.
I'm buzz sawing, man. I need more bullets. I don't know what you're talking about. Nice.
So, oh wow, yes. So everybody, bye. Good night. See you later. No, why did it go on the music? So much for that. Bye, y'all. Bye.